There's a certain type of person who is just naturally good. They're honest, they're generous, they forgive people easily, and they seem to get along with everyone. On the surface, these people look like paragons of virtue, and in some situations, that's a good thing. We want our friends to be good people. We want our children to grow up good. But in other situations, goodness can be a liability, even a fatal flaw. That's a lesson we learn from one of history's most notorious writers, the Italian diplomat and philosopher Niccolò di Niccoli, better known as Machiavelli. It's me, and this is my channel, and today we are exploring the dark side of goodness. The problem with good people is they have no idea how to wield power. It's a skill that must be learned. This is the thesis of Machiavelli's most famous work. The Prince, a handbook for acquiring and maintaining political power, first published in 1532, 13 years after his death. The book was dedicated to a young Italian prince named Giovanni de' Medici, who would later become the infamous Pope Leo VI, and it opens with an astonishingly frank discussion of how the Medici could acquire power. There are two main ways, Machiavelli tells him, either by inheritance or by force. If he inherits power, he should be especially careful not to underestimate the difficulty of holding on to it. Because if he does, his crown will fall to the first ambitious pretender with an army at his back. In other words, beware of being too good. Don't trust your enemies to honor an agreement. If you don't use force to defend your position, you deserve to lose it. A good ruler knows this and therefore never allows himself to be completely disarmed. Machiavelli's advice might seem cold and cynical to modern ears, but there's a brutal logic to it. The world is full of people who would happily take advantage of your goodness, people who consider themselves princes of darkness. So why should you, the good guy, disarm before them? Instead, he says, study their nature, become skilled in the arts of statecraft and self-defense. Above all, learn how to read other people so you know when someone is plotting against you. After all, as the French writer François de la Rochefoucauld put it, more books are burned in hell than in the whole of the world besides. Machiavelli would have agreed. In The Prince, he famously wrote, "There is nothing which can so readily destroy a reputation for honesty and sincerity as a too ready belief in others' words." And in the Discourses, his commentary on Roman history, he expanded on the point, writing, "One who is entirely good is considered a fool." All men are by nature self-interested. You have to know how to defend yourself against those who want to harm you. Now, of course, it's best to be good, but if you are, you need to be smart about it. Machiavelli called this wisdom. In The Prince, Machiavelli argued that in order to win and hold on to power, a ruler must be prepared to do whatever is necessary, even things that go against conventional morality. He imagined a spectrum of possible rulers, ranging from the lion, who symbolizes untamed ambition and strength, to the fox, who embodies cunning and guile. To survive in the dangerous world of politics, the prince needs to cultivate both qualities. Unfortunately, many rulers are all heart and no brains. They're like lambs, harmless creatures who lack the ability to defend themselves. In Chapter 8 of The Prince, Machiavelli singled out generosity as a particularly destructive quality. It might feel good, he said, but it makes you vulnerable to exploitation. If you are too ready to say yes to people, you will end up with nothing left to say. When you absolutely have to say no, this is what he meant by being a lamb among wolves. You have to be able to say no. Sometimes you have to be willing to cross people or break your word in order to protect yourself and your interests. Of course, Machiavelli recognized that sometimes it is possible to make mutually beneficial agreements, but you have to be wary of people who ask too much of you or demand that you keep your word no matter what. These are the people who think they can take advantage of your goodness, and they will if you let them. This isn't just a problem for politicians and celebrities. It's a problem for everyone, especially those of us who want to help other people. As author and leadership coach Tim Castleberry points out, people pleasers are notorious for setting bad boundaries because they don't want to disappoint anyone or make anyone feel uncomfortable. But when you don't set boundaries, he writes, you're basically telling the world you're not worthy of respect or care. People will soon treat you accordingly. It's a harsh lesson, but as Maya Angelou wrote, nothing will destroy you faster than persistent, constant negative people. Stay away from those who try to belittle your ambitions. Small people always do that. But the really great, the truly great, make you feel that you too can become great. People pleasers may think they're being nice, but in reality they're doing themselves and everyone around them a disservice. Yes, it's better to be good, but you also have to be aware of how other people think and operate, and sometimes that means protecting yourself. The same goes for forgiveness. We all mess up, but there's a difference between offering a sincere apology and saying sorry while planning your next move. Many people, perhaps especially good people, find it hard to forgive someone who has betrayed them. They feel angry and humiliated. They want revenge. But here again, Machiavelli had a point. Revenge may feel good, he said, but it comes at a cost. When you strike back at someone who has wronged you, you are making yourself vulnerable once more. By definition, you're putting yourself at the mercy of emotion. This can turn you into a reactive ruler, which is the opposite of the wise, proactive leader Machiavelli had in mind. Better to accept the injury and move on than risk ruining everything you have by lashing out. Wise people know when it's better to forgive, even if that means swallowing your pride. Forgiveness doesn't mean letting someone back into your life, says therapist and author Dr. Ramani Durvasula. Sometimes forgiveness is refusing to give someone another chance. Sometimes it means agreeing to a trial separation or divorce. Sometimes it means changing jobs or ending a friendship. Sometimes it means reporting an offender to the police or to HR. Forgiveness, she writes, is not forgetting or condoning. It's not excusing or minimizing. It doesn't mean allowing harmful behavior to continue. And it certainly doesn't mean passively accepting abuse. The secret to being good without getting hurt, then, lies in knowing how to protect yourself from those who wish to do you harm. And the way you do that is by understanding how they think. This is the lesson Machiavelli taught princes 5 centuries ago, and it remains as true today as it did then. As he wrote in The Prince, it is a well-known fact that in all things it is necessary to consider not only the good, but also the bad. It's good to be good, but you have to know how to defend yourself from those who aren't. And now you know the dark side of goodness. But do you know the dark side of evil? Check out this episode where we explore the dark side of evil. See you next time.